Welcome! I am Public Enemy Numero Uno, and thank you so much for watching this. Today, I want to talk about making D&D grappling hooks useful again. Grappling hooks are found on page 150 of the Player's Handbook, and they are almost never purchased in D&D, an item that is seen as a staple in adventure stories and films and further popularized by iconic characters like Batman. The grappling hook just isn't that useful anymore. Spells such as Misty Step, Spider Climb, and Fly completely negate the use of it, and most player characters attempt to scale wall are more likely to try a strength athletics check, possibly with the use of a rope and pythons, than think of having a grappling hook. I think this is kind of a shame, but it is understandable. So, how might I endear others to try out a grappling hook? The primary use of a grappling hook is to attach a rope to it and grapple structures and environments. This permits characters to climb unscalable locations when skill and magic are not available. There are no rules available in 5e for using a grappling hook, which only amplifies their irrelevancy. There are rules in 3.5, but they involve a use rope check and an increased variable DC. The rules I would use is a combination of a skill check and improvised weapon rules found on page 147 to 148. The range of an improvised weapon is 20 feet normal and 60 feet maximum. To throw the grappling hook within 20 feet requires a DC 15 strength athletics check. Throwing one greater than 20 feet but less than 60 feet imposes disadvantage. This is pretty simple as it uses already existing rules. I suppose that one could spice up the grappling hook by making one similar to Batman's, calling it the grapple shot. A grapple shot would be considered an improvised weapon requiring a dexterity check as opposed to a strength check using the same rules as before. In addition to being just a grappling hook, the additional gears and springs will winch the rope at a rate of 20 feet per round. It can pull up to 250 pounds of weight or up to a character's push, lift, drag weight. Not instantaneous, but useful in a pinch. For rule's sake, I will say that it's an independent action to winch the rope as a use an object action. I have a feeling that thieves will love this. Probably the only time that a rogue would want to get the Tavern Brawler feat found on page 170. Mind you, this is using it as an object, using it as a weapon is another matter. Trying to get one of these when it's not in the rules is rather difficult. A character that is proficient with Tinker Tools could use the crafting downtime activity on page 187 to build one, or have an NPC make one for them. Considering that a grapple hook costs 2 gold, 60 feet of silk rope costs 12 gold, a block and tackle costs 1 gold, a hunting trap costs 5 gold, and a heavy crossbow costs 50 gold, with the additional components cost and work, I believe that it should cost about 250 gold and weighs 25 pounds. Making it would cost 125 gold and take 50 days. The grappling hook is not a weapon, and at best can be used as an improvised weapon. It could be argued that it can help grapple creatures, but as using a hook is likely going to be as useful as your hand, then it does not offer much of a reasonable benefit. However, if the grappling hook was tied to a length of rope, then it is possible that it could be used to extend your grappling reach. I would use the rules for a net on page 148 for the grappling hook, except that it's an improvised weapon. On a hit, the target takes no damage and becomes grappled. Formless creatures are not affected by the grappling hook. The target can use its action to make a DC 10 strength athletics check, freeing itself on a success. Dealing 2 slashing damage to the rope with an AC of 10 will also free the target. But you lose the grappling hook unless you get it back. You could argue that a lasso would be just as effective as a grappling hook, but I would point out that a grappling hook is a weighted end that pulls on the rope as it is thrown. A lasso does not have that and would have a severe limitation on range by comparison. That being said, I think you could still use these rules for the lasso, just with the understanding that its range is reduced. Using the grapple shot as a weapon is also possible with similar rules. While it is still an improvised weapon, I would treat it like a heavy crossbow with similar properties. Characters with more than one attack can use both the grapple hook and the grapple shot to hook a target with one attack. Then use the shove action as your second attack, either yanking the target closer to you or trying to knock it prone. Normally, a weapon with the loading property cannot be used to attack multiple times in a turn, but you're not trying to fire with it again. You're applying a different action to take the place of one of your attacks. Moreover, the crossbow expert feat on page 165 cannot apply to the grapple shot as it is an improvised weapon, and since it only has one ammunition that is attached to it and cannot be replaced on the spot. Regardless, this would be a fun weapon for players to try and start turning creatures into yo-yos. With that, Please comment down below as I would love to hear more ideas or criticisms. Thank you again for watching my video and have an enjoyable day.